Does talking about money give you anxiety? Does the thought of meeting with a lender and going over all of your financial information make you really uncomfortable? Well, you're in the right place. A lot of people feel this way, and I totally get it. So today, let's talk about why that happens, what's really going on, and how I make the process easy, comfortable, and secure for you. The first thing that I see is that people are afraid of being judged. One of the biggest fears people have is being judged, right? Maybe you've got some credit card debt or you missed a payment or two. Here's the truth. I've seen all kinds of financial situations. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help. We need to establish the baseline. We need to know what the facts are. That's why we're looking at your credit and asking you all of these really nosy questions. I'm looking at your credit profile and all of this information just to see if you can get pre-approved to buy a home. It's a math calculation. It's nothing else. In fact, in a couple days, I will completely forget all of the details that are on your credit report. If you call me, I'm going to have to pull up your file and look at it. I don't memorize it. If we have lunch or coffee or see you at the grocery store, I'm not going to go, oh, there's Lucy. Gosh, she's got all that debt, that credit card payment of like $400 a month and her car loan. Oh my gosh, can you believe that car loan she has? No, that is not it at all, okay? Math calculation. These are numbers on a page to us, and you do not need to worry what you have going on. Number 2, privacy concerns. You may be afraid that your sensitive data is going to be misused or shared. It's not, at least not in my world. It's totally normal to worry about privacy. Your financial information is personal, and you need to know that it's safe. That's why I follow strict security measures to protect your data. The information stays between us, period. It starts with the secure online portal. That's where you make application and upload all of your documents. And then everything else from there is very calculated. In fact, we go through training as a company on how to protect your data and store it in a very, very safe way. So you just don't need to worry about that from my standpoint, but it is something that you should ask a lender. How do you protect my data? How do I know that when I give you my information and I upload my documents that it's safe and secure? The third thing people are afraid of is identity theft. We've all heard horror stories, and we probably all know somebody who's had their identity stolen a little bit or a lot. However, I want you to know that I'm aware of all of those scams and frauds, and I get it. You can actually verify that I'm a licensed loan originator or whomever it is that you're working with. You can go to the NMLS Consumer Access website and type in my name, Linda Shinpaw, and you will see my NMLS number and that I am properly licensed. You'll see the states that I'm in and where my address should be. So you have some things that you can double check to make sure that the person you're working with for your home mortgage is legit. Reason number 4 is most people are really embarrassed about their debt. The entire reason I'm making this video is because 2 days ago, I met with a husband and wife in their mid-30s. They're prominent business owners in their community. And about halfway through our meeting, the wife said, Linda, I am so uncomfortable talking about money, and I'm really embarrassed about the amount of debt we have. Truth be told, she has no reason to be embarrassed about her debt. Her credit score was great. She is not carrying any kind of excessive amounts of debt, but that doesn't mean that she is less uncomfortable. She was very, very uncomfortable. I was really happy that she told me that, so I could be extra sensitive to that and then talk to her and encourage her in that way. But here's the deal, guys. Debt is very common, right? Almost everybody has some sort of debt. I do see some credit reports with no debt, and that poses its own set of issues in the mortgage world. But I see credit reports with $5,000 worth of debt, $50,000 worth of debt, even $500,000 worth of debt. And you know what? It's all relative. If you're a recent graduate versus a medical doctor who's been practicing for 20 years, your credit report's going to look a little bit differently. The size of your car loan might look differently than somebody else's. Your mortgage, if you already own a home, might look different than somebody else's. Quit comparing yourselves to other people. Whatever debt you have is whatever debt you have, and we'll work with it and we'll make the best of it. Promise? Okay. The 5th reason that people have this anxiety around money and talking about it with other people is because they just have a lack of financial knowledge. And if that's you, it's not always your fault. Your parents may not have raised you in an environment where they talked about money. They may have been uncomfortable about money. They may have been unknowledgeable about money. All right. So it can stop here. It can stop here right now by listening to this video and just taking an interest in how to feel more comfortable about money and learning about money, especially from the standpoint of buying a home. You're changing things. All right. I'm going to explain things in a simple way. I want you to understand. Yeah, mortgages are complicated, but they don't have to be confusing. You can understand them. This is a great time for me to tell you about my free Smart Buyers Home Guide. If you want a PDF that you can read at your convenience or print out and highlight and make notes, this is for you. It walks you through the entire home buying process. All you have to do is click on the link in the description and I'll send it to you right into your inbox. I've got 10 things I'm sharing with you, and we're to number 6. And this is the fear of being denied. Oh, even without talking about money, who wants to get denied for anything, right? It's such an uncomfortable feeling. But here's the deal. Even if you don't qualify today, it's not game over. You can still buy a house, but you may just have a little bit of work to do. If you're not ready today, or if your finances aren't ready today, I promise if you work with me, I'm going to help you come up with a plan. And so long as you do your part, I'm going to follow up with you and we're going to get you a house eventually. It could take a few weeks, a few months. I've even worked with people where it took a year or two. But listen, it doesn't matter. So long as you're willing to do the work, there is a plan that will help you get from where you are today to homeownership. This is the most important thing I want you to take away from this video, okay? Do not feel uncomfortable because you think you cannot buy a home because of something that's going on your credit profile. Right now, I have somebody with a late payment on her credit report. Guess what? It's an error. It's not even a real late. And so I told her how to call that creditor, what to say, and they've taken it off. And now we just have to wait for it to post, which can take up to about 30 days. We can pull her credit, her score is going to soar, and she's going to be right back in the home buying process. I've got somebody else who just needs to wait for her tax refund to come in. She doesn't have enough cash to close, but that extra $6,000 or $7,000 that she's getting back will perfectly set her up to buy the house of her dreams. But in all seriousness, I do have people that I talk to that need a lot more help than that. And it's okay. Most of the time I can help you. And if for some reason it's out of my league, I've got somebody I'll send you to and they'll help you. Okay. Number 7, have you had a past negative experience with money or somebody helping you manage your money? Maybe you've dealt with a lender who was pushy or didn't explain things well. I totally understand that frustration. When I bought my first house, I didn't get a very good tutorial either. I have the heart of a teacher and I like to educate you. Hence why I'm here making these YouTube channels. I want you to be able to make an informed decision and I want you to feel calm and comfortable as we go through the process and definitely when you go to the closing table at the end. That is really important to me. Maybe you've gotten some bad advice in the past. I get it. Been there, done that too. All right. Don't let a past experience keep you from going down the home buying process. Buying a home is an amazing experience and I want you to have it. Number 8, misinformation and myths. There's a lot of misinformation out there, like having your credit pulled is going to lower your score and ruin your chances of buying a house, right? It's not true. I'm going to make sure you have the facts so you can make an informed decision. So let's debunk a couple of those common myths. First, let's go back to having your credit pulled is going to lower your credit score and mess everything up. It's not. We can do a soft credit pull, which actually has no impact on your score, or we can do a hard pull, which has a minimal impact, maybe 5 points. It's not a big deal. In fact, it's an important part of the process, and you are protected by the Consumer Protection Act to have your credit pulled multiple times for the same reason, and it only counts as one pull. So there are protections in place. So as a consumer, you can do what you need to do when you need to get a loan. All right, another myth. You have to shop around. You've got to call these lenders and make all these applications just so you make sure you're getting treated fairly. Well, I think that's a myth as well. And I think that it's a myth for 2 reasons. First of all, I'm a mortgage broker. And so when you work with a mortgage broker does a lot of that shopping for you. I personally have access over 100 different lenders. Because I'm with the largest national mortgage brokerage in the US, we have all kinds of relationships in the background. And so You make application one time, we pull credit one time, and then when I'm on my computer researching rates and products for you, a multitude of lenders are showing up on my screen. Kind of like a stockbroker's computer page with all those little numbers and symbols. Not quite that bad, but that's what it looks like. Think that when you're talking to a mortgage broker. We have a lot of options in one place, and we save you a ton of running around. The other thing is, go with your gut, right? You know when someone's trying to pull something over you. You know when they have your best interest at heart. And so you don't necessarily have to shop around, but if you start with somebody and it just doesn't feel right, maybe you should go somewhere else. But once you find somebody good, stick with them. Let them hold your hand and see it through. You're going to be glad you did. Reason 9, fear of commitment. Some people hesitate because they think once they start down the path, they're stuck and they can't change their mind. And that's not true. You are always in control. This is your financial information. This is your home buying process. This is your personal information. You call the shots, okay? My job and a good lender's job is to give you the information you need to make an informed decision, period. You control the timing, you control the pace, all right? There should never be any pressure to sign on the dotted line. Now listen, when you buy a house and you're under contract and we do have a timeline that we have to accomplish for closing, sometimes you might get like prodded along a little bit, but that's going to feel normal. That's going to be like, hey Joe, I need that statement from you. You know, the one from Monday and it's Wednesday, I need that now or we're going to start having trouble getting this closed on time. That's a different kind of pressure. But up front, you should never feel pressured to sign your name to anything, especially if you don't understand it, okay? The last one, number 10. You just don't know what the process is, right? Some of you have never gone through the home loan process before. It can feel overwhelming, but that's why I'm here, to guide you step by step through the process. No surprises, no stress. Okay, a little stress because you're spending a lot of money, but it shouldn't be mega stress, okay? Here's the overall process that you can expect when you're talking with somebody like me for buying a home. We're gonna first start out with a 15 to 30 minute consultation. I'm gonna ask you, what are your goals? What kind of house are you looking to buy? What's a comfortable monthly payment for you? How much money do you have to put towards the purchase of the home? These are normal questions, and this should be a normal exchange in the beginning. I've got to get to know you, and you should ask me some questions too. Maybe you say, hey Linda, how long have you been in the business? Why did you decide to be a loan officer? How many people have you helped in the last year? You know, things like that. But just get a feel for the person that you're talking to on the other end of the phone, okay? After that consultation, you should be asked to make loan application. For me, it's through a secure online portal. That's the easiest way. You spell everything correctly so I don't mess it up, but also it gives you somewhere to upload your important documentations securely. And as part of that process, you're acknowledging some different things and giving me permission to pull your credit. All right, so that next step is typically making formal application on an online portal. After that, I'm going to get an email once your application's in, and I'm going to proof it. I'm going to go through it and see if the things that you told me are being reflected there, and also to see if there's any gaps or any blanks in the application. So I'm going to call you again, and we're going to have a little bit deeper conversation. Today, I called one of my clients because she didn't tell me that she had over $100,000 in student loan debt on her credit report, and it's in deferment. And I needed to ask her, do you have a payment plan set up, or are you going to have a payment plan set up in the next 90 days when this deferment is over? So that might seem like a crazy question, but that was the question of the day, okay? It's very normal. If it's on your credit report, we may ask you about it. And the reason isn't because I cared that she had $150,000+ in student loan debt. I cared what that monthly payment's going to be, because today it's a problem for me. There was nothing there. There wasn't even a zero. So it was like monthly payment. Oh, pick a number, right? Any number. No, that's not right. There's something I have to default to if she doesn't have a payment arrangement already set up. So again, just a real world example of like, that was something that happened a couple hours ago today. So then after we have that conversation, I'm going to run you through the approval system. I'm going to call you back and say, hey, Joe, hey, Mary, guess what? you're great. You're so good. In fact, I know you wanted to be pre-approved for 500,000, but you could go up to 650 if you wanted to. Now that's going to be a higher payment and this is what it's going to look like. But you know, do you want to look at going higher, or do you want to stay at 500,000 because that keeps you in that monthly payment range you want to be in? So these are the kinds of conversations we have next. All right. The call could also go, hey Joe, hey Mary, I was able to run everything through underwriting and there's a couple things we need to take care of before we get our approval. It's not that scary, right? There's a couple things we need to take care of, right? And then we talk about those things. Maybe there's some late payments that are mistakes, right? Maybe you had a credit event and we have to let a few more months go by so you qualify. Maybe you need to wait for that tax refund money to come in, right? Maybe you, I don't know, there's all kinds of reasons, but that's what's going to happen then. And then depending on those two things is kind of where we have a fork in the road. If you're good to go, we're going to call your realtor and we're going to set you loose so you can go look at houses and have fun. If not, you and I are going to talk. We're going to have like weekly or bi-weekly or monthly phone calls, and we're going to touch base until we work the plan and you're good to go. And then we're going to go back a couple steps or run you through the underwriting system again until you get the phone call that, hey, Joe and Mary, everything's great. You're ready to go. Okay. At the end of the day, my goal is to make homeownership possible for you without stress or fear. If you've been holding back for any of these reasons, let's chat. No pressures, just real answers and a game plan that works for you. I hope this video eased your concerns and your worries. I hope that you can take a big breath and just relax. Give it a like and share it with someone else who could use this information. And if you have any questions, comment below or get some time on my calendar. There's also a link for that in the description. I'll see you on the next video.